Society is collapsing and it deserves to. In recent years, I've been reflecting deeply on the state of our society, particularly here in the United States. The evidence is overwhelming. Our society is collapsing, and harsh as it may sound, I'm gonna keep it real. It deserves to. From the dismal state of people's mental health, to the trash behavior of so many people because of ghetto culture, to the rapid decline in physical health, the signs are everywhere. Let's talk about some of the data that paints a bleak picture of where we are heading and why this collapse might be a good necessary reset. Unhappiness on the rise. Let's start with the mental health crisis. According to the World Happiness Report 2022, the United States ranks 16th in the world for happiness. While this might not seem bad at first look, it's a significant drop from previous years. Gallup's Global Emotions Report found that 55% of Americans experience significant stress daily, one of the highest rates globally, even though we have more money. Also, a study by the American Psychological Association shows that nearly half of U.S. adults feel their stress has increased over the past 5 years. Physical health decline. I really shouldn't have to say anything about this, but when it comes to physical health, the statistics are just as grim. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, reports that over 42% of American adults are obese, a stark increase from just 30% in 2000. Obesity is linked to a myriad of health problems, including diabetes, heart disease, and certain cancers. These conditions not only shorten lifespans but also reduce the quality of life. Speaking of lifespans, the National Center for Health Statistics noted that life expectancy in the U.S. has been declining for the past 3 years, a trend not seen in over a century. The average life expectancy is now 76.4 years, down from 78.8 years in 2019. This decline is because of factors such as the opioid crisis, rising suicide rates, and chronic illnesses. Economic strain and inequality, which minorities know all too well. Economic inequality is another critical factor contributing to societal collapse. The gap between the rich and the poor is widening at an alarming rate. According to the Economic Policy Institute, the top 1% of earners in the U.S. take home 16 times more income than the bottom 50% combined. This disparity leads to a host of societal issues, including increased crime rates, poor educational outcomes, and a lack of access to basic health care for many Americans. The Pew Research Center reports that 61% of Americans believe the economic system unfairly favors the powerful, and 75% feel the government should do more to reduce the gap between the rich and poor. Yet, despite these overwhelming sentiments, little has been done to address these fundamental issues. Environmental degradation. Let's not forget the environmental impact of our unsustainable practices. The United States is one of the largest contributors to global carbon emissions, and despite growing awareness, efforts to curb this trend have been inadequate. The Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, indicates that the U.S. emitted 5.1 billion metric tons of carbon dioxide in 2020 alone. This relentless pursuit of economic growth at the expense of our planet's health is a clear sign of a society on a destructive path. The pandemic's revelation. The COVID-19 pandemic has further exposed the fragility of our societal structures. The healthcare system buckled under pressure, revealing deep-seated inefficiencies and inequalities. Millions lost their jobs, and many small businesses shut down permanently. The pandemic has acted as a magnifying glass, highlighting and exacerbating existing issues. A necessary reset. My analysis. The collapse of our society seems not only inevitable but also necessary. It's a harsh reality to accept, but perhaps this collapse is what we need to rebuild a more equitable, sustainable, and compassionate society. We are a nation burdened by stress, plagued by poor health, and torn apart by economic disparity. It is clear that the current system is failing use on purpose, and continuing down this path will only lead to further decline. It's time we face the truth. Our society is collapsing, and it deserves to. Once we acknowledge this, can we begin the arduous but essential task of building something better from the ashes? Let this be a wake-up call to start prepping. Let's strive to create a society that values well-being over wealth, sustainability over consumption, and community over competition. We owe it to ourselves and future generations to rise from the ruins and forge a brighter, more resilient future. If you like this type of content, don't forget to subscribe, like and turn on post notifications. Your support would be greatly appreciated since I'm not monetized yet, and you can do that by contributing to my Patreon, where I'll be posting more content that won't be allowed on YouTube. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, this is the main man B-Rock signing out. Peace.